Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you so much for letting me sit down and walk through the wonderful Word of God with you today. Today is one of those passages that I like to say, here's religion, here's Jesus, and oh my, I choose Jesus. Our text is in John chapter 9 today. It's the man who was born blind. Jesus and his disciples were walking along one day, and his disciples said, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? That was the common teaching of that day. It was somebody's fault that this man was born blind. You always had to condemn people. Religion, you take God out of religion, and remember, God had not been part of Judaism for 400 years. You take God out of religion and man turns it into a condemnation machine every time. Now, if you don't believe that that's what the common people were taught, listen to what the leaders told this man after he'd been healed at verse 34. To this they replied, you were steeped in sin at birth. How dare you lecture us? And they threw him out. Now, these guys, they looked at this man and said, you know, you were born in sin, that's why you were blind, but we were born so holy, that's why we're fine. But Jesus isn't like that at all. So when they looked at Jesus and said, who sinned, this man or his parents? Jesus said, neither. And then he reached out and did the most bizarre thing. He spit on the ground, and it must have taken a pretty good bit of spit to do this, because then he made mud with the saliva. Now please folks, we're not talking about a polite little drop of spit. He would have had to really put some stuff down there. And I know some of you are going, oh, Pastor, too early in the morning. But if he made mud out of the saliva, he did a pretty good bit of spit down there in the ground. And then he took that mud and spit, put it on the man's eyes, and said, go wash in the pool of Siloam. And as the man obeyed, he was healed. Now, forgive me, I think Jesus has a sense of humor. He was incredibly creative. He never likes to do things the same way twice. And maybe that's a principle we should always learn in life. Never put him into the box and think that he's going to heal everybody the same way or do everything the same way in our lives. But you know what? He doesn't condemn you. There's not always a spiritual reason for the problems in your life. Please forgive me. There's not always a spiritual reason. Sometimes there's just a big, ugly devil out there in the world that hurts people. And it's nobody's fault but the devil's. So quit condemning yourself today and quit letting other people condemn you today. I will never forget many years ago when my wife was very sick. There was these people who came into our house to, quote, pray for her, and instead they wanted to condemn her and tell her all the sins of her life. And I wanted to see if they could fly off the 16th floor of a little apartment building we were living in. I've watched so much condemnation in my life. If you're struggling with healing today, quit condemning yourself. Quit listening, well, there's sin in the camp, that's why you're sick. Quit listening to that and understand that you have a wonderful Jesus. And he's just going to reach down, and he'll do it in a different way every time, but he's just going to reach down and help you. He is a good God.